First of all, thank you all for being part of this project and also visiting this presentation today, as well as previous presentations, which were very interesting. Also, hello from Bosnia, currently actually in another city, just moved like 2-3 days ago before I was talking with Miriam. So yeah, what I like to say first for you, when I was preparing the lecture or basically presentation for today, I took some time also to check some of the previous speakers and so on. And I warmly welcome you to check it also by yourself, especially I have to say I was like very interested in the presentations of Grandmaster Ramesh, who is actually working still, yeah, especially with the players who are currently playing in Batumi, the similar age and so on. So in the next minutes, I will be actually sharing with you my experience as a coach. And especially like my experience in work with the young players and everything, all the facts which are needed actually for the young player to success and so on, to make the success. Yeah. So today I would be like especially talking about the relation between between three base of the success, and that is the young player, their parents, and basically coaches. That doesn't mean that, of course, sponsorship or basically all other kind of the support is less important. Of course, this is like, let's say, again, one more base, but I'm not expert about it to talk about the medias and so on. So yeah, I will be connected more with to say something about young players, my experience, and so on. I'll be sharing now a presentation here on the Zoom. You'll just give me a second to make it like how I would prefer that it looks. Give me just a second and so on. I will just share this part, which is important for us because I did not do it a bit before. So yeah, this is basically here the part. Yeah. So when we are talking about young players, of course, and so on, one of the things which I find out through my work is that young players, they are like very, very unique with the talent. Yeah. And sometimes, first of all, it's not so easy to recognize the talent. And then also like it's somehow it's not so easy to see where it goes. So a lot of things, everybody has the really unique talent. Every child is basically like a genius and so on. And when we will see it and how the coach will recognize it really depends also sometimes from the personality of the young player. Like, is the young player, open person, or basically like, is it more shy or it's close character? Then also from this also depends the self-confidence of the young player and so on. So yeah, this is one of the things which I find that it's like on the coach to realize and so on. I can tell you one example actually from my recent training camp, which I had in Turkey. It was in September last year. And of course, since I was working with the young players, which are different level compared, let's say, to grandmasters, international masters, which I'm working also with in the same time, I had to accept the role in a bit different way. Yeah, that I'm not really there to work one-on-one, to give them the extremely hard questions and so on. But also I needed to be like sort of animator, like the person who will also interest them to be there to sit 8 hours and more. I mean, training camp was not easy, I think, for the players who were like, mostly they were between 10 and 14 years, and so on. And their age actually to work 8 hours and then play some blitz tournament, it was for some of them the first time and so on. But in that group, we had like one young player who was like extremely shy. And even his results in playing blitz and so on were not so great. But every time when we had the specific problem, or I would say like puzzle, which was actually asking for the thinking a bit outside of the box, not thinking maybe for the positions which you already saw or the patterns which you already saw, he was actually not maybe all the time, but most of the time he was the first one to solve. So obviously you can see there is a talent for one part, but now you need to develop it, because this is like recognizing unknown patterns, being able to be faster in solving the situations which are like, let's say again, not common in that you saw it in some books or through some I would say these basic things which you are learning from the coaches. It's actually huge quality, but I mean now it's needed so much to develop it, because like generally he's good in that stage, but I mean this stage in the game, such action is coming actually rarely. Yeah, so basically playing chess is a bit different. Yeah, so when we are talking about young players, first thing which of course young player has to be interested in is actually learning chess. uh, I'm from the part, or from the region, former Yugoslavia, where basically chess was extremely popular, especially in let's say in period 50s to 90s and so on. Together with the Soviet Union, basically the former Yugoslavia was a second or third chess country in the world. Yeah, they were organizing many events and so on. So many people, they know to play chess, and many people learn to play chess, but a lot of people, they did not work on chess. They did not basically read the books working on this, and they were just like learning through the experience. And learning through the experience is good, but it's actually not maximize the talent of the young player and so on. So this is one of the important things. Like a talented player has to be interested in chess, or basically, if it's less interested, the coach, I will say, like usually coach me or somebody else, has to try to find a way to make it easier for the young player, because we are talking about the children. So and so on. Also, what I like about the young players and children, when you are communicating with them, it's very easy if you have the honest communication with them. If they are not like, let's say, fear of you for some reason, because older people and so on, and like maybe authority and so on, they are very honest. They will say, okay, it was nice what you were showing us, but it was a bit boring. So I mean, it's nice to hear that, because then you can change. So this is one thing for the coach also, like coach should be thinking about that. But first of all, this interested about working and learning, and not only playing chess, this has to be basically developed also. If it's not existing there, it has to be developed. In a recent period, I was involved in a couple of projects which were like sponsored by the Evren Uchok, who is the main sponsor of the Grandmaster Erdogmush and so on. You probably all heard for the Yagids and so on. And there I met like a lot of young players who are basically extremely, they are like talents and so on. And what I realized also from before, but especially with the young talents, which already they showed something, very important is here, as you can see, this key factor, what I wrote, growing up as a person. This is not only something which I had in the last couple of years now when I was working on this project. This was the same what I was basically dealing with when I was the coach of Austrian national team. I will try to explain it also through that period before. So as a coach of the Austrian national team, where I came in 2017 and so on, we had like one period that was like basically 2018, 2019, when we needed to change the generations. Yeah. So there was like extremely young talented player, now Grandmaster Dragnev Valentin, but after him, there were like coming couple of young talented players. They are now all the grandmasters. So maybe you heard for some of them, like Grandmaster Felix Bloberger, Grandmaster Dominik Horvat. He is a bit younger, and so on. Since I was like only working with the first team, so those were like grandmasters, and top player at that point was the Grandmaster Markus Rager, who was around 2,700, and so on. We agreed in the federation, and with other coaches, even Marcus was doing this. Like we had this part where we were trying to make the young players to push them to grow up. In which sense? I will just say it. You can say like first thing is like young player has to, like at some point this will come. That's very important to say. We need to be patient to wait for that. But this moment when you see that he is grown up, he or she, it's basically coming with this like responsibilities about the work is basically for the young player. Today, with the many young players, when I'm working, I'm communicating with them without the parents. We agree they are in the school. You are coming back from the school. Does this time work for you? Does the time work for you? And so on. And it's their responsibility. Let's say that if they have to meet at 8 p.m., they meet at 8 p.m. Also, this shows that they are interested to learn something, yeah, and to work further, and that they like chess and so on. Second thing, as you can see, I wrote here, it's finishing homework on time. It's again one thing which with young players it's not easy. Depending actually from the, I have to say, like depending from the culture where they are from, yeah. And so we know that basically in some Eastern countries, like it's a bit more about the authority, and if you say something, it has to be strict. Some countries are less strict, and all this has to be respected also by the coach and so on. So important thing is at some point this will happen. Young player will start to do the things on the time, but we need again to have this, like we need to give him the time to learn it and so on. Also with this all, it's coming asking the new questions, which means that it's basically related with the own work which the student is doing. For example, a young student is now, let's say, checking some tournament in the world, doesn't matter. Recently there was October Open, we had like candidates and so on. So he or she are coming with the questions to the coach, not related with the topic today. Let's say we are working some topic, I will now just say sort of let's say isolated pounds, doesn't matter, isolated pound, hanging pound, something like this. He's coming actually, or he's writing, let's say one day before about the topic. Yes, coach, I saw this, what do you think? It's interesting, can you help me, can you give me some advice and so on. And yeah, of course the coach sometimes can help, but also coach cannot sorry if something pops up there and so on. The question is that if this happens, like you see that the player was is going up and so on, and then you are trying, of course, to help him and so on. And I would come to the most important part is this one, when the young player starts to work on his own material. That's actually very tough, because like sometimes working on a material, it doesn't mean like, he's working on some course by which was written, so you bought the course, he's working now on this. No, but he's asking the questions in some positions even which were related with working with the coach and so on. Also, here you will see one photo. This is like from 2001. I will tell you, like from 2001, in this period when I was 14 years old. I believe in this period, yeah, I was 14 years old. I see the date up, or basically month. So what was happening? I was starting already then. But we are talking about the ages when you don't have the strong computers, when you don't have the lot of materials and so on. I started even then to do some positions on my own, to investigate it. And in that work, I was making the mistakes. But I was basically learning by myself how to structure my work, what should I do, which positions are important, and so on. This is what we were doing actually in Austria, not personally me, because already the young players who were in the national team, they were already learned what they had to do. But the young players, when they had their trainings, coach, and especially Rager, he knew, like he prepared one small file or one small line. I'm now just trying to explain it in an easiest way. Yeah, like let's say some position which is like coming after move 14, and there are like only 20 games in the database. So there is not too much material where the player can copy paste it and say that he did something, but he needs to produce his own work within, let's say, 1 hour or within 1.5 hours. And then you see how he did it. You try to help him. Of course, you show where are the mistakes. You give some of your advices. And then again, you do it after some time. And as I say, sooner or later, that young player starts to work on some things without the coach, because he's not depending anymore on coach. He knows how to structure the work. He knows how to organize it and so on. Again, it will take a time. It will take a time, but once when the player gets to this level, his improvement is coming. Doesn't matter, we can talk now about the numbers of rating or something, but his improvement is just, and even self-confidence and everything is boosting. Because if I am able to do something by myself, I don't need the coach. This is next level for me. Next level for me as a player. So those things, especially this thing growing up as a person, is something where young player, same coach, and of course, parents, they have to be patient. It's really from my experience, it's really depending from the, young player that are basically coming also and developing as the persons in the different ages. So we need to wait for this period, like when it will happen. I mean, some players are even dedicated and they are able to do this when they are 10 years old. These are very rare cases. This is very rare cases and so on. But, we cannot expect that every child can do it when it's like 10 years old. We have to wait until the moment comes, Here we need to be patient. And this will make the progress and so on. And this is actually the progress in our long project, and so on. So let me go to another things which I think that it's important for the young player and so on. So here we have like some facts which I wrote and so on, and which I think that for many players, they are a bit like, let's say, not really taking care about that. Learning through repetition or through repeating. I mean, if young player had some session with the coach and so on, now basically they were working on something, he got material, he has to work on it. The very simple thing is, if he doesn't check it like regularly and so on, this material or this topic will be forgotten. It will not be prepared really for the game. We are now talking, let's say, the simplest thing is to say something about openings, because I know that you as a parent are most of the time involved, like opening should be the one part, how he will play this first part of the game good and so on. This is also really depends from the young player. Young player needs also to invest the time. That doesn't mean if he did not play well, that the coach did not explain it. It is there in the material. It is there, maybe everything is given, and the young player is the one who has to be responsible to, as I said, learn it. Not learn it like, he doesn't have to learn it like every move and so on. Just to understand the ideas, to learn it, to remember it. Because this is the same, I always like to say to young players, it's similar like in the school. Similar like you are in school, you have to do the same. One part will be done in the class, but another part, as you are growing up, as you are going to the second, third, fourth grade, more and more it's asked from you to do it by yourself. Similar is in the chess. I will say this second here thing, which I also put it with the bold letters and so on, is I can tell you the rule which all my young students do not like when I mention. So it's my rule is that every chess book young player has in his library has to be read. He needs to know what is happening in that book, what was written. He doesn't know. Examples are not important, and so on. But you need to learn something from that book. You need to take something because you have material next to you. It's basically there on your shelf, and you should use it. This is what we were doing actually before 20 or 30 years. You had to do this, otherwise there was no other way to learn anything. I mean, to get some information and so on. And I mean, basically, I should know what is there in my house. If I'm a chess player, I know what is in my chess library, and so on. So this is the rule which young players, they will not like it, but if they succeed to do it, they will learn. And also one important thing, this is their own work. This is their own work. For young player, in this thing is basically, I wrote here for young player, very important thing when he is developing, that this developing healthy competitive skills. You need to respect your opponent. You need to, when you have the player who is your competition, let's say in your country and so on, this doesn't mean that you should not talk with him. You should not have the communication. It's the best way if you want to improve. It's the best way that you have good sparring partner within your local area. Then you can practice. Then you can play every day. Then you have somebody which you can basically look at if he is stronger than you. Then you have somebody who can catch you if you are not working. So this healthy competitive skills, being able to cooperate, to talk, and being friendly with your I will say it like basically with your opponents, in the chess tournament, but basically they should be your friends. They should be your friends. You should be open to do this. If you are not, if there is like not possibility to do this, in a local area, We have internet, we have everything. It's possible to try and organize. Of course, one of the things which I maybe already mentioned, this is what I wrote next. Improving your chess preparation is not like in a chess preparation just working. It's just what I wanted to say here. During the tournament, many young players, and I think they're also, don't take me wrong, but the parents, they think that it's enough. If you got some material, 1 minute, 5 minutes, we finished, instant knowledge. Because today we live in, I would say, in society where something like everything what is like instant success is coming and so on. They are like, people are usually not showing this old background, which is done, which was like before as a base for some success. So basically what I want to say here, knowledge is something what you are learning at home. Knowledge, our chess knowledge, our chess skills, this is something what we are learning at home. And we are basically bringing it on the tournament and we are fighting with it. So basically learning the new opening, because my opponent is playing second move, I don't know, some variation. It's actually, in my opinion, wrong. It can maybe give instant success, but it's the wrong in a long term. Because we are not building our structure. We should not care about, what our opponent plays. We should be basically, we should believe in our work. And so on, in our repertoire, in our work, in our skills, and so on. So, as I wrote next is today the one thing which we can see. We have many young players who are actually extremely good in playing online, extremely good in the or basically even learning chess. It's a lot about online, and so on, and basically work on the board. I think this has to be balanced. Playing online games, it's too much and so on. Always try for the young player to work also on the board that this is balanced. Similar is also with the learning chess and the practice and so on. And in the end, I wanted to say in my opinion, also very important thing. We need to secure that that is job of the coach, that is job of the parent. In development of the chess star, which is a really long-term process, and it's like kind of a marathon. We should basically avoid that our young student, our child, and so on, starts to behave like a star before it's really on the end, and it's really star. Because if we start to celebrate our win on the 5th kilometer and we are running marathon, somebody will be in front of us for sure. Probably many of them. So this is the thing. And last thing, very important thing for the young player. Again, this is including the most of the time parents, because the good coach, he will try to understand if the young player improved or not. Point is that improvement is coming via quality of the games, via quality of the play, not via instant results. We can make really good result with a bad play. I'm saying now with a low level play and so on. This will happen once, it's maybe second time, but this will not help us actually too much. Next period, we'll not have so much luck. So basically, quality of the play has to be something which coach will be looking, and parents should like kind of talk and have some cooperation with the coaches about that, to understand that sometimes the result is not important. Like really, even what is happening, let's say during European Chess Championship, I will say I had one of my main students, most talented students, and so on. He was playing European Chess Championship, and so on. He asked me after the very successful tournament, which game you liked the most. And I said to him one game which he won against, I think, 3 or 4 grandmasters. Don't take me for a word now. I will not calculate. Yeah, I don't have time. So basically, he asked me which game you liked the most, and I chose one game which he made a draw. It was 100-something moves. He was playing against one experienced grandmaster, and he was trying actually to beat him in a way of the very experienced player. He was playing very good technical chess. Everything actually which was weakness for him, he turned it in that game into really, he put it in the he put it on the high level. And that game was the best for me. For me as a coach, for me who knows him, that game was the best. Not attractive win against with some sacrifice which he had in round before or something. I did not care too much because there were like some mutual mistakes. I was choosing that game because that game was showing real quality, real mature play by him. So I will go now farther. I hope that I was not talking too much and so on. So this was just something about a young player, and I hope with this what I'm talking that many young players, they will recognize themselves in maybe some of those stories, and that they will try to improve by just listening this advice, and then try to do something by themselves, or basically suggest maybe something to the coach and so on. So as I said, without a young talented player interested in chess, interested to work and so on, we don't have this first base for the success. Second base, of course, are the parents, and always I always like say to my young players, sometimes when they have like let's say tough period with the parents, I say, okay, I'm your coach, I am bonded with you and so on, but nobody can love you more than your mother and father. Their parents, nobody can really wish you so much success as the parents, and that's the truth. Sometimes sometimes this connection, of course, it's kind of tough because of the also I would say specific ages when the young players are coming and so on, coming through and so on, and they are in. But yeah, so common problems which can be like happening for the young player. I mean, when they are looking to their parents and so on, first thing is like emotions. It's not just emotions for a young player. Will also this is linked actually between young player, even coach and parents, because I can tell you sometimes I'm just simply avoiding to watch the games of my players, of my students. They play, let's say 3 or 4 of them are playing the tournament. I just do something else, because if I start to watch, I will get nervous. I will have like so many emotions, and I know that I cannot help. And for parents, this is on the much, much higher level than the coach, and so on. So overreacting, not just on the failure, because most of the parents, I mean, this is like emotions. Most of the parents sometimes overreact when the result is not good. They are either worried, they have like their other ways, yeah, like how they are communicating with the kids and so on, their own child and so on. But yeah, overreacting in this way is actually have influence on the young player. He doesn't want actually to. He wants to help you. He wants that you are satisfied with he wants that parent is satisfied with him. Yeah. So all of a sudden, when you are when you have like such a reaction, basically, instead of playing for himself, playing for his improvement, child is slowly starting to think. I mean, I'm playing that my parent is happy. Yeah. What will happen if I don't win now? And so on. This is one situation which we have to avoid. Because otherwise, I mean, as I always say, like for the young player, you are only playing chess for yourself. Coach is there to help. Parents are there to help you, to love you, to help you in everything what you want. But you are only playing chess because you want and because you believe that you are good in this. You like it, you love it, and you want to create something. You are not playing chess for anyone else. Not for the sponsors, not for everyone else. You are playing chess only for yourself. And so on. Through my experience and through my, let's say, career as a coach, although it's not so long, I started actually to work a bit more with as a coach, not as a second or helper to the grandmasters and so on, but really as a coach in 2014 and so on. So it's like, let's say 12 years now. Yeah. And so on. I had this second thing, being ready to hear and accept the criticisms about your child's performance. Like finding excuses for some performance and so on is actually something which is leads us in the wrong direction. We need to come and we need to understand, like there cannot be like kind of, his opponent was behaving like this, and then this was like affecting to his tournament and so on. We need, of course, this can happen. For everything you have the first time and so on. But the thing is, like, we need to be stronger than that. We need to develop in a way that we don't care how our opponent is behaving, whatever our opponent is doing, and so on, that we can give the maximum performance from us. And the also parents, many times they hear I will say again, sweet words from the different people and different coaches. If you have your own coach, and you believe to him, that's very important. So you have a coach, you believe to him, his decision, how and what happened at the tournament is final. His decision also, if you decided to work with this coach and he says, we can achieve this, we can achieve that, and so on, he's the one who will make the work and who will analyze the player and so on. He will give some advices. We can get here, we can get there. People around, many times they like to say, he is the greatest talent ever we saw. But I mean, the thing is, like, many times, as I said, the coach, which you are working on, believe to him. That's the thing, because he's working with a young player. He's facing with all these problems all the time, or basically with how to help and so on with all this situation. That is also connected with the faith in coach, what I said, yeah. For example, why I wrote here like a couple of things, which we are all facing with, is like, if you are choosing the coach, you want to choose the coach which is the only one that he works only with my child, yeah, that he doesn't work with anyone else. I mean, today, especially when you are searching the coaches in a local area and so on, this is not so easy to do. I mean, it's simply the job for the coach and yeah, so on. But on that level, if we are talking really, when we have the higher level where it's like really needed expertise coach and so on, this is another story. But in the development of the young player has to take these parts and these good things from the coach. And some things which are not looking so attractive and so on, he will not use it. He will put it out and yeah, it will be on the site. So this is the thing. I mean, faith in coach, as I said, if you are choosing the coach, you should know what he is specified to work on, and basically that he helps in this area to your child. Here also bolded one thing, which I know that it's very hard for the parents, especially I think now, at least I saw in Montesilvano, I think the old boards are like basically like they are live. Yeah, I did not check in Batumi, sorry about that, but I guess that many boards are live and so on. And then parents are usually using platforms, following some games live, and then you have like this evaluation of the engine. And the evaluation of the engine is like kind of, you are checking like, my child did not do this, my child did not do that. He made a mistake in move 38. He made a mistake in move 14. I believe that most of the parents, they are not actually involved in chess, or basically they know maybe the chess rules, but they never played like, let's say, serious chess and so on. So basically they were not like, let's say, even trying to be professionals and so on. This is very hard. If you use like this, actually, it will be, first of all, exhausting for you as a parent. And second thing, it does not have to be the truth. If the engine is showing some best move and that he missed something there, it does not have to be true. On the side, I can show you, like, here I put like one example on the photo. I don't know if you can see it well. It doesn't matter, from one game, which I was in position, which I was explaining. Usually this is like for the higher level, let's say like title players and so on, finding the plans and so on. And there I'm explaining like my way of thinking during the game and so on. And basically I'm even putting this exclamation mark, which you see in the platforms when some move is good and so on. I put exclamation mark on the move where basically no chess platform would put it. I'm explaining my idea and basically the reason how I was like maneuvering and so on. And basically this is just like one small example how using and relying on the evaluation of the engine, especially, as I said, for most of parents which do not understand chess and the process of the fight and so on, it can be like tiring and so on. It can be confusing. And also sometimes it can lead to this first thing, yeah, that basically our emotions will be, we will be overreacting in front of our child. Yeah, I would suggest to most of the parents, if you have a coach will work on this. Coach will understand what happened in the game. That's his job actually, and so on. And basically that you just during this game you enjoy. You can check like every 1 hour what happens in, or I don't know, since I guess young now. You're basically your children are very young, so you have to wait for them and so on. But to wait maybe without the phone, reading the book, doing something else. I don't know, taking a coffee, and so on. But just to use that time to be a bit more relaxed as a parent, because your child will need you all the way during the tournament, especially when they're young. They need for everything. You will have more energy. Uh, Let the coach to decide about the game. Maybe even better to talk with the coach in the evening, 15 minutes, just about that. That he gives some opinion about that. Then to just basically, as I said, to use your energy and so on to watch the game and so. Couple of things. These are more like not, I would say, like problems. This is more like advice. I don't believe that that the young players, they should like be too much. I would say like too much choosy, about the tournaments. I mean, when you are a young player, you are learning through the games, So basically, most of the time, young player is feeling comfortable. Also, the parents are feeling comfortable, including also the coaches. Believe me, the coaches are also feeling comfortable. When you have the young player who has this, as I wrote, playing only strong tournaments where 2 results are okay. When the draw is nice, win is excellent, and loss is not bad, and so on. It's fine, of course. We have to play the strong games, yeah? But one very important thing is that whenever 2 results are fine, and so on, this means that we are not maybe improving so much. And second thing, we are not learning to play under the pressure. If we want to be the best, if young player wants to be the best, and so on, when you are the best, 1 result is fine, yeah? I mean, if you want to win some tournament, 1 result is fine. I mean, you were all following the top tournaments and so on, reading many things and so on. Even I can refer to the last tournament which Magnus played, and so on. He sits, 1 result is only fine. He has -2, he lost the game, 1 result is fine. He sits, he plays, he wants to do it, he wants to win, and so on. Also, why this is important? This is important because the young players, when they have the 2 results, they will sometimes accept the draw from somebody, and so on. And this is not good. Doesn't matter he gained 10 points of rating. I will now refer also, like you have like many players in different stage of their career. So some players will make, including the coaches, some draws and so on with less fight than it should be and so on. But those are the different parts, different career. Young player needs to play every game till the end. One of my experiences, I will tell you like this. So I was coaching one young player. It was a tournament, I think, in 2000. It was last year, 2025. He plays one open tournament. And in the second round in the morning, they play double round. He's another coach and so on from the past. They were making these pairings. He is grandmaster. And okay, it's older player. He offers him a draw. And my student accepts the draw. Now the tournament is finishing quite bad in the end for him. He loses some rating and so on. So after the tournament, we meet and so on, and we talk. I told him also something during the tournament, but I wanted to talk, face to face and basically, okay, camera to camera, because it was online. I will say it like this and so on. I wanted to tell him, and then we were discussing. And I said the first mistake why the tournament went wrong was the second round. He said, why? I said, okay, you earned some rating points, yeah. Player had, 150 points from stronger rating than you, grandmaster, blah, blah, blah. You earned some rating, but you lost too much. You lost to play with strong player who is better than you. You lost to play that game. You lost the chance. You came there to play to improve. You lost the chance to be under the pressure. You need to learn to play under the pressure. And then I offered one thing, which maybe will be interesting for you. I'm usually like kind of a flexible coach and person, yeah, and so not so strict, I will say. So I offered him, like, okay, we are talking honestly. Now you can say one thing to me. Is it possible that the next tournament you are not allowed to offer a draw? Yes or no? He is thinking. He says yes. He plays next tournament. He plays great, playing. Around, I think was 6 and 7. Again, some grandmaster offers him a draw. Now the situation is that he has like great, he's earning rating and so on. He accepts the draw. He finished the tournament in the end. Well, we come. I said, okay, we talked, but one thing is not good. Yeah, we said you will not make a draw, and now okay, you try to find excuses for this and so on. In the end, I mean, okay, we agreed. Okay, I said it's fine. It can happen. I mean, we cannot say from today I'm doing this 100%. For everything we need a training, but we need to be stronger than this. Like, you know, stronger mentally stronger. This will bring because you will lose maybe rating in the beginning, but it will bring you the experience. Also, it's correct if you are there. I mean, you have to play till the end every game. You learn through this. And basically, in our long run, this is helping. Making a draw, accepting the draw against IMs, GMs, FMs, just because they have higher rating, and so on, to gain 10 points of rating. Coach, parent, and young player, they should work all together on this. This should not happen. Also, young player today, he has not so much time to improve. You know, everybody is improving. I mean, this gap that you have the time to improve in my ages, or basically when I was like becoming strong player, and today it's much, it's way less shorter, and so on. Second thing, or basically what I wrote, hiring coach based on some title, rating, I will say even PR, and so on. There are like many problems which are coming in this area, I believe. It's not so easy to find a good coach. And I always say when I start to work, I always say, hey, we can try one session, and then you talk with your child. I will see how he's or she is working, and then I will also give my advice. Okay, maybe I'm the coach for this or not. I will suggest another coach if I cannot coach. If I don't see that it's matching, yeah? Or I don't know, 1, 2 trainings, but it cannot be 1 year. Now we say, oh, it will take 1 year. It's too much, yeah? So basically, you really need to take your time and to figure it out together with the child in an honest talk with a young player to find a coach where it's really becoming this, like it's just simply matching with the level of work, with the understanding, with the way how the coach is working. I always say, does not matter if, let's say, one student cannot work with me. That doesn't make me bad coach. We just don't fit in this area. There are many coaches. I cannot coach everyone. I'm not specialized for coaching everyone, and so on. The same is like, this is no hard feelings. I would say, no bad feelings. That's the way how it is, yeah, and so on. We are searching, and it's not about the coach. It's about the young player to find the best way, the best coaches, persons, and so on, who will help him on his road. I cannot be for everyone that one, and so on. In the end, I would say like this: lack of long-term project. In chess, it's one of the things which is very important. Actually, if you don't have the project and so on, it's not so easy to know where we are going. So we need to have some long-term goals, not only short-term goals. For example, we need to have the goal, I would say, let's say player which is like now 1800, we want to make him strong, let's say 2300 player within some normal period, depending, this is what will coach say, within like, I don't know, 1.5 years, 2 years, depending on the coach, what he will say, and generally the period, yeah, like which coach will say like some period, and then we are working on it, yeah. But you need to have the long-term plan, long-term goals. And then, of course, to build up this way how to reach it, and so on, find the people, have the budget, and so on. Since I was a young player, long time ago, and so on, I had a luck in that period. Okay, if we are talking now about the former Yugoslavia and all the things which were happening in the 90s, and so on, in the end of the 90s, I became the European chess champion under 12. in a very nice generation. Actually, 1987 is maybe not the strongest generation ever. There are like stronger generations and so on, but it's very strong generation of the players. Like I remember when I became the European champion under 12, it was in Greece in 1999. Teimur Ajabov, who does not play chess today, and it's indifferent. He's working some different jobs in his life, and so on. He was the champion under 18. He's my age, and he won championship under 18, European championship. And after I became the European champion without real coach or anything, with some couple of books which my father was bringing and so on. My father, who doesn't know to play chess, but he is very good in organizing the things and so on. He was a bit thinking ahead of that time, and he said, "Okay, in order to help to my child, I need to have the project. I need to have the plan." So he found people who will do that. It was not easy search. It took some months. It took some negotiation. It took some time to travel. And the person who took it and to work on it, to make the project and so on, my very good friend from Serbia, international master, Ivan Markovic, he even did not play chess at that point. He stopped playing chess. But again, he was extremely good as a coach, as a player who could prepare structure material for me, who could suggest other persons to work, and who had enough knowledge and so on to make the project very attractive project, and to give some, I would say, like by checking my games and so on, to give normal time when this project should be done. Yeah, I mean, it was 4 years project. Which started in 2000 actually, because in 1999 at the end of the year I won it, the championship, and it was the project that in 4 years I became the grandmaster. At that time in 99 I did not have the rating, but I got the title of the FIDE master because I won the continental championship and so on. And that project succeeded in 2004, was finished and so on. But it's not too much about the project to say. And so on. It's possible to see it in details on this regional language, Bosnian, Serbian, Croatian, and so on, as it was written like this. But the thing of this project, what my father understood, of course, main problem in my country was the finances. I mean, how to support some project. So it's very simple. Yeah, if you have the good project with a good coach made, now, wherever you are applying, you come with, let's say you come to the private company. I mean, he was doing it, I mean, and so on. He would go to private company. He would say, okay, my child is talented, this. Okay, there were like also some kind of the words and of the support of some grandmasters from Serbia and so on, and from abroad and so on. But he came there with a project which had 30 pages. So once when he is going out from the meeting, he's leaving that project with 30 or 40 pages, don't take me now for a word, where it's written how to do, what to do, blah, 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 till the end, until this part, which is like budget, yeah? And basically this was giving the results. It was not working in every private company, but you had the project also for all programs in the country. Because in many countries you have this program of support, yeah, for the different projects for the talented people, especially I think today, and also you have you could apply probably for many international organizations in a similar way, which are supporting education, which are supporting different things and so on. So having that project, which was actually seriously done and so on, helped to my parents basically, to support my chess career, which was like sort of where they could help me, because they are not playing chess and they could not help me in any other different area and so on. Of course, I cannot say that my father was not, again, emotional, included and so on. It's fine. Everything was good and so on. Of course, that he will be there, yeah, and he was like living for the success like of his own child, like you are living for success of your child and so on, and that's normal. But that program, that project, helped actually to have this fourth base, which I was talking, finance and so on, everything stable, and really it was working well. And one of the things why I succeeded to become the grandmaster, not maybe in such an early age like today, but at that point I was the youngest grandmaster in that region and so on. And okay, with the less with 17 years and maybe 9 months or now something like this, or actually it was Olympiad, so maybe it was like 7 months or something. So yeah, now also this is connected, since we have the long-term project for the parents. If they organize a long-term project, then these high expectations in a short period is something which I was really fighting with the not fighting, but I was dealing with, when in a communication with the parents. That's the job of the coach. Job of the coach is to say, even today I say, I see improvement, rating will come. Sometimes rating comes, I don't see improvement, I say it's also not so great. But high expectations in a short period are something which can be like, again, leading us in the wrong direction. Because as I said, for you as a parent, going or creating or helping to your child to reach his dreams and to become the top player is actually not one marathon, it's a couple of marathons. And we have to go stage by stage. Doesn't matter where we are on the stage one, it depends where we are in the end. Because we don't know where our, problems will come and so on. Just the point is we need to get to this final step, final stage. That's where we are going. Problems in stages before that is something which we need to deal with. And this is the thing. Connected with that, chasing records. I think you are maybe not following so much, but Caruana recently said one very nice thing, where he said that for the obviously players who will become the top players, they will be top 10 players in the world if everything is going fine, normal their development and so on. Chasing the records, he doesn't see the point about that. Am I grandmaster when I'm 13 or 14? Doesn't matter too much if I'm going to be the top player, with, I don't know, 20. So chasing records, making the pressure like this on the young player can have the different impact and so on. So I would suggest also like this, that chasing some records and so on. It's nice to have some record, but it's not obliged to be there. Because sometimes you're basically then again, why I'm saying this? Because then we need a draw for something. Then young player will just try to take a draw. And on that way, he will be like playing under such a pressure that he will probably lose the game. Instead of just saying, okay, today is normal game, you will become the grandmaster on this tournament, or 2 months later or 1 year later. It doesn't matter for us. Play the game, try to win. Of course, if you have the chance that you force a draw and so on, you see, or of course you will think about the result. But being only focused on one result, because this brings some title, again, it's basically basically bringing some record is in my opinion, it doesn't help us in our long project. And of course, one thing is like comparison with the wrong competition and competitors. This is like connected with this being the star before you are star. You are winning championship of your country, and you are now you don't have anything anymore to learn because you are winning this championship. You are dominating and so on. I'm just saying as a young player, this has to be like changed, because the young player, if we are champion of our country, then we are looking where we are exactly here in Batumi. If we are first in Batumi, we are looking where we are under 14. If we are under 12 champions. So we are always putting the competitors in competition which are stronger than us to put our goals. We are not stopping with that. And so on. And finally, of course, one of the things is, as we know, the part of everything is one of the parts is finances. If we are in a chess, again, long-term project, marathon, do not expect that investment which you done will come very fast. Will come back very fast. Don't expect that. And be ready to face with that. That's the only what I can say. And I will now point out if it's fine for another part, or maybe I'm already talking too much. Maybe the the Miriam can tell me if I need to be faster. Sorry for talking so much if I'm doing, but yeah. I will be then very quick because I see time. I'll be then very quick with this last part about the coach. I would just like to say that, yeah, sorry.
Pardon, Borki. Maybe any parents have any questions during this stage before we move for the next part for coaches? Any questions from parents? Okay. Let me pass the microphone to one of our guests and he'll address question.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Dear Borki Predojevic, many young players today have a huge gap between their high online ratings around 2400 and a much lower official FIDE rating due to lack of over-the-board tournaments. So what is your psychological advice on how to handle this pressure when playing against low-rated opponents or OTB over the board who play much stronger than their rating suggests?
Yep. Thank you for the question. Yeah. Well, when we were talking about the online chess, yeah, in general, just if you think like online chess is a bit different discipline than normal chess. Like online chess, a lot of time takes like, let's say, especially they are fast in they are good in the blitz, in the bullet, and so on, which is very good for the practicing, let's say, your instincts, the way how you play, and so on. But it's different part of the chess. You can imagine, like when you are playing a game, you have to play the move, you have to press the clock. That's like first what you are doing. Yeah, you play the move, you press the clock. Online, you are doing it in a completely different way. So also, what is the many times problem? Like due to playing online a lot. This is basically how to say, like this is environment where the young player is feeling good. So he's performing better because it's like, basically it's the same like when I was saying, reading the book and reading on online platform, yeah, watching the video and so on. So here you should not be worried. One thing, like when you have the player who has like high online rating and he has low FIDE rating, yeah, the most important thing is, let's say, like to understand, okay, this online rating obviously comes after a lot of games. That doesn't have to imply in his normal chess, yeah. Plus, also, normal chess, when they are playing like in online games, you have like so many blunders. Young players are playing; they're usually winning on time. They're playing the positions which they would not, like in normal game, they would not be able to win. They will win against international master online because they will flag him. You will never flag, let's say, international master or stone player over the board because, let's say, all the player he learned to play on the board, he cannot play good chess online. Yeah, like he simply doesn't have this. He doesn't have this capability. I can tell you like one thing also. Sorry for maybe being too long, but actually there are like probably many young players who will do much better puzzles online than me because I'm slow with the mouse. No chance to catch them. So don't be worried about that. Generally, what you need, like what is good, if you see the rating of the young player, which is very low, yeah, and so on, but it's based on the, let's say, decent amount of the games. For example, I see that young player, he has rating 1800, but I see that rating 1800 rating is based on 40 games. Now on 40 games, I can already realize that this is his level, yeah, like he's going maybe up, down. I will see if he improved in the last couple of games. And then I will have better info as a coach and as a parent and as a young player and so on. For me, enigma would be that I have like 10 games from this guy, and he had like 1,000, let's say, I don't know, 1,400 rating, and then I didn't see any of his games. Then he has 1,800. Obviously, he improved. I don't have too much info to understand what he's doing. I'm saying as a coach, also as a parent, also if you are trying to help to your kid and so on. And then I would be more like, this would be for me more, let's say, one information where I would say, okay, now we have to be careful. This guy plays much stronger maybe than his rating, and so on. But I would not be worried if he is extremely strong online, and if his rating is classical wrong, is much lower. So because the point is in how many classical games he reached it. That is giving us actually the some info if our opponent is improving fast or not. Let's say like this. I hope that I helped you a bit. And so.
Thank you very much for such a open answer, and I wish you good luck in future lectures and your chess career.
Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Maybe any volunteer? Okay, I guess we can move further to
Yes.
finish shortly with the stage for coaches. And I have a
Yes.
list of questions which will be interesting for parents as well.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Yeah, I will be fast and so on about this part. What I want to say, I mean, about the coaches and like every good coach has his unique way of work. He, we are all taking something somewhere, like some, let's say some parts, but of course we are all creating our own work, our own ideas, how to improve our own, I would say our own ways, what to do, and even our new rules. Yeah, so you should like believe to the coach when you see that the coach is good and so on. I mean, you can easily see it in the communication and so on. Just simply, if he has like a bit different work compared to previous coaches, this doesn't mean that it's bad, and so on. So this is the thing, and yeah, just do not interfere too much in it. If for your child this is okay, if your child enjoys it, leave it, and so on. Let's see how it works. You need to give it time. So I shared here like a couple of the things from my system and so on, what I think that it's important. I'm saying like I have usually to my students, I'm giving homework in a couple of different things, but the homework has to be there. Homework has to be like their obligation. I will recheck it sooner or later. I'm not the one who will be like the police to check it, like, on Saturday you have to do it. Saturday is this. I can tell you, yesterday I had a training with the one student of me. It's a young girl and so on. So I told her following things. Yeah, we agreed that she will work on something. Few days before, I asked her how it's going. She said, okay, she did not have a time. Now I said, okay, when you can do it before our next training. Let's say we are planning training for Friday. She said, maybe I can do it until maybe tomorrow, Friday, and so on. I said, okay, let's make it like I'm not police and so on. But can you do it until the Sunday? She says, yes. Now Sunday comes, I will see if it's not or if it's yes or not. But we agreed, yeah, we gave even more time and so on, and let's see. But repeating files, learning she had actually to work on the extra games, checking extra games, examples, and she needed to make her own material. This is what I was saying in the first part. She got the job to make her own material, and so on. And then to send me that I checked that I had my notes, what I believe where she made a mistake and so on, where she maybe missed something else. So every training has to finish with the homework. Is it repeating files? We were working something. I suggest maybe that, during the next week, young player repeat a bit what we were working, ask the questions and so on. Also this, you see, checking extra games examples, which we did not have a time to check, some examples in a following topic to check. And you see extra examples. This is like the puzzles, which you probably all know. The coaches like to give the puzzles and so on. Sometimes also when I see interesting puzzle, I know where is my student for which level. Then I just send the puzzle. Let's say I see it on Facebook. It's funny puzzle. I make the screenshot. I send it. And so just also this is like the way how, I mean, with the coach, and you want also to basically give your chance to your student to bond more, to ask the questions freely whenever he or she wants. Project coach. This is very important. I mean, when I see that somewhere I'm not able to help, or I will say even from the financial point of view, my help will be not, I will not provide the more quality help for this, what will be my fee. I will suggest somebody who is extremely good in that area and to help. Of course, on the student is if he can bond with him or not. I cannot again have the influence on it, but it has to be tried. Because I believe that somebody else can help in another area. I'm great maybe in some other areas, but I can tell you, one of my colleagues, his area is just to work on the practical on the theoretical endgames. And now when he comes to some endgame, he says here is mate in 12 with the bishop and knight. Here is mate at 15. I may be strong grandmaster, but I mean, to know the difference between mate in 12 and what to do and mate in 15 without the calculation and sitting, I cannot do. And he knows it. I mean, he specialized in this area, and I can claim that I'm the best coach ever, but for sure in this I'm not. And so on. Training games between students. This is what I was saying, normal, healthy competition, and so on. Use your people around, like using the young players around in your area to play with them. Your child should play with them, bond with them, talk with them, learn with them together, and so on. Many times I'm doing this with online students. They are playing online. I connect them. I say, this topic. I send some position, and they are playing. Always I say, then it's on them to agree everything. Plus I'm learning them that they have to play. They have to together work, and they have to together agree about the meeting. They are growing up. And yeah, a young player should always ask the questions. Whenever there are like some questions outside of the topic, I like it. That means that the young player did something. It can be sometimes maybe for the coach or the grandmaster, like it looks like strange question, or the question which is not on his level, but that's not important. Important is the question. Important is the question, because this is how you are helping the young player. And in the end, as I said, coach should be always doing this part, like improvement of quality, level of play, checking that, not instant results. That's what I already mentioned. If the coach is doing like this and explaining well in communication with the parents, because parents are usually worried about this, and also explaining this to the young player will sooner or later understand that he needs to work, that he needs to improve, and so on. And finally, just this thing, here I explained like some tips how to choose the coach. I will be very quick. I think that the coach always, if you are working with a serious coach, somewhere this material, what was done on training, has to be passed. Your child needs to have what was done in the training, what he needs to repeat. It has to be in one of the chess platforms, in chess base. It can be via recording. Sometimes if it's something happening, this is agreement between the parent and the coach, and so on. I know to do recordings. It's normal thing with my students, and so on. And yeah, report about the work, which should be like, as I said, it can be in the recordings also. It's very good. Sometimes I'm just showing you on the side. Here is like some report from one of my students. I cut it just like what was done, like some middle games, strategy, openings, hanging pawns, and so on. This is in the fun file for the student, and so on. It's actually, for me, more important to have it, because I'm not the one maybe who will stay with that student. Nobody is like, like I cannot stay with every student forever. Yeah, maybe he will stop to play chess, or he will a bit move, or he will at some point say, okay, maybe this is too much for me. But at least the parent has now, when it's coming next coach, he says, but look, this is what we were working. He doesn't have to send material. He can just send the topics. He sent the topics. This is what they were working. You can see here. This is what they were working. This is his repertoire. This is here, and so on. Again, this pedagogy, I think, like finding your own way to bond with a young player, it's very hard. You need to be like very flexible. You need to try to basically make it interesting for him, and so on. This is like, and all this has to be like in a really nice way, without that the young player feels like, I don't know, like very uncomfortable because, I don't know, sometimes you raise voice or something like this. This should be like avoided. This should be avoided. And also then, I mean, you should always talk with your child about this. If child feels uncomfortable, something is missing, better to change the coach. If this cannot be fixed, it's open talk. It's like cooperation. And then, of course, being able to say, I'm not coach for this. I believe that this player can help more. This coach help more. If you can say this, if your coach can say this, then for sure you have a good coach. For sure you have a good coach. I say many times to my players, yes, you want to attend to some group training. Of course, go there. Bond with other players and so on. In the group training, they will work some general topic, bond there. And of course, as I said, talk with your child and choose the best coach for your child. Doesn't have to be grandmaster. Many times through my career, grandmasters did not help me. I was working, but the the main coach was international master. The player who had to follow me, to go with me on the tournaments when my parents could not be, there were two players. One was international master, one was FIDE master. And then when I will just tell you final thing, when I became the already serious grandmaster, there was the tournament in 2016 Sarajevo. Carson played. I called one international master at that time. I have a rating 2570. He's my second on the tournament with 2350 rating. But he's there. I mean, chess-wise, I prepared everything. I'm grandmaster, but he's there because I'm feeling comfortable with him. I'm feeling comfortable to have company with him to play 10 tough games and so on, and he can help me in another parts, including waking me up on time to make my routine and so on to help me about that. And finally, very quickly, this one, what I wrote here, if we are not the team, player, parents, coaches, if they are not the team, there is no success. And only when you have a team, then you need to have the project, hard work, mutual respect and chemistry between all of that. We are all dedicated to the same goal. And then, only then, result or the goal, final goal might come. That's the thing. Sorry for being too long, but yeah, now I'm open for the questions. Yeah.
Thank you, Borki. Any questions from the audience? Okay, Borki, I have one question. So the first question, you've trained Austrian national team for more than 8 years, right? And maybe you notice some correlation. What are the psychological qualities separate strong junior player from those who become elite adults? What are the correlation and psychological qualities between them?
Yeah. When you are working with the young players, okay, when you work with national team and so on, they are already experienced and so on. Although at that time, I will tell you like what we did. This was 2019 Batumi. In our team, maybe I will miss somebody, but I will say now by the name. So Rager was the first board, Grandmaster Rager 26 something, 2670 or 27. Second board was the Grandmaster Rager, this young player. Grandmaster Dragan, he was already 2530, 2550. And then we had in the team in 2000, this was 2019, I said, well, we were placing on the third board international master Felix Bloberg. At that time, Felix has the rating 2440, while the player who is on the board 4, he has 2520. And it's Grandmaster Shengelia. Grandmaster Shengelia, born in Tbilisi now, in country where you are, yeah? Very good friend of mine, and we had like one international master on the 5th board. We pushed the young player to play higher board, to fight, and so on, because we realized that he has the potential for sure, but he needs strong games. He needs to be playing all the time, and he needs to get the punches. So when you have like this, I would say relation between strong players who will grow up and so on, is this psychology actually, and being ready to be brave, fight, and being basically ready to go down on the floor, being hit a couple of times, come back. If you don't work on that, we can be huge talents and so on, but mentally it will be extremely hard. We will come to some level, and we will stop there because we have the fear of loss. We have we are currently always thinking about the result. And then we are, instead of being proactive, fighting, attacking the players, trying to be better, we are actually going into this reactive mode. We are trying to not do too much. We are not trying to be creative in the game and so on. Creativity, being ready to be brave, and being ready, understanding that you have to lose to win the games. To have to lose to be better. Those are the psychological things which, I mean, the top player always brings with himself. I mean, this is like, if you take all these players, top players, they have it. From the character and the personality, it will depend a bit how much will it be working for that player. But okay, character is something which we have all unique. Yeah.
Okay, maybe.
Yes.
Oh, sure. We have a question from audience.
Thank you. For a young player who prepares mostly individually without a huge team or federation support, what is the most efficient way to use engines like Stockfish and LHS Zero to build a bulletproof opening repertoire for open tournaments?
Depending on the level, yeah, like you really don't need, like, for example, Stockfish. Stockfish strong. And so I can tell you one interesting story. This happened only once to me. I don't think that it happened to too many players and so on. This was like maybe 3 or 4 years ago. One talented player, he was already a bit older, international master from Spain. I'll not tell his name and so on. He wrote me the message. He asked me, can we make some sessions? He was exactly as you were saying, like he was already working a bit as a coach and so on. And he was like supporting himself, most of the time, I want to say. So we agreed we will work some amount of the hours. So why I want to tell you this, you will listen, you will see the point. So I asked him, okay, now we finished something we were working. Where do you want me to send you? So I said, okay, chess base file. We all learn like chess base, send this. No, he says, can you make the lead chess study? Yeah, I said, okay, lead chess study, but you need it for chess base. He says, I never used chess base in my life. I did not use chess base. I'm using lead chess. I'm using lead chess stockfish, which we know all that it's relatively weak stockfish. And the player is still I am. So what I want to say, engines, Lila, stockfish doesn't matter too much. Most of us, especially for the young players, it's enough to have like, let's say, chess base. More important is to have a bit more material, to be eager to read material, to work by yourself on some, let's say, strategical books and so on. And also when you don't have the support of the federation or huge amount of the coaches, bond with somebody which is like similar level with you, similar level of work with you. It can be weaker. Don't worry about that. It can be 150 points less with the rating than you. But if it has the will, if another person has the will to work, and it will just simply good sparring partner be to you and so on, why not to have this friendship building up for everything? Yeah. So you need to find this kind of ways to help to yourself like this, because I can tell you nobody succeeded alone, or very rarely. We always need like somebody, and also like we need the social point. Like social skills are also bringing a lot to young players. For example, open personality, young player which I have, like he will come and he will talk immediately with another parent of some of his opponent. Yeah. He will be brave enough with, 12, 13 years old. He goes there and talk. We had like similar situation with one of the top players. He started immediately after the game. He finished, the game was draw, and he started to talk with him like the game is, like they are equal. Yeah. And he was okay. It was one game, one success for him, but he was talking like, very open and so on. So in that sense, I would not be so focused on the stockfish, Lila, and so on. I would be focused that you learn the new materials. You learn from, is it book? Is it something else? Today we have like so many things which you can find on chess platforms. You can find many videos and so on. You can maybe use stockfish for one thing. When you want to learn something from that part, you can just a bit check that you see if somebody is like, we have like many times PR videos for some tricks. And we know that these tricks are bad, yeah? So we don't learn the tricks. We learn why it's bad, and then we go to something serious, yeah? But I would suggest less stockfish, less Lila, more working on the problems, puzzles, reading material, playing the games. Stockfish cannot help you in the game. After move 15 or 10, what you learn, no help anymore.
Thank you for answering such an important question for improving for young players, and not only, basically for professional players who want to improve their skills in chess. So thank you.
Thank you for your question. Okay, I'll ask the last question. Maybe, this question is common for parents and troubleshooting situation when a kid has a bad period and a kid asks to quit chess. What parents should respond to that? How to deal with this situation?
Yeah, that's tough question. But when the young player has a bad period and so on, usually again, like it's tough. Okay, when the coach is included, then okay, coach can explain like, okay, you played here good, you played here, we should improve this, and so on. But really, if I'm usually for this, like you should respect the wishes of your child, yeah, like and so on. Also usually when they say once that they want to quit chess today, maybe you leave them decision for 3, 4, 5 days, and then already with a couple of nice wins, if they play something online, they're already coming back with this will to work again, and so on. The most important thing actually for the young player is to try to separate him from thinking about the numbers and rating. Like, again, one funny story it will be. So I was again in one of the camps in Turkey. So I met one young player who came there and so on. So I was talking with him and so on. I asked him, what was your last tournament, what you did there? And he said, yes, I played open. I made 15. Like thinking, okay, what he made 15, yeah? Because I asked him what was the result. He says 15. I'm thinking, what is 15? I said, okay, but how 15 points? It's 9 rounds, yeah? Open. No. He says 15 rating points. I did this. I said, it's not important 50 rating points. How many points did you make? Like that, I know where you were on the list and so on. But he said like 15 rating points. So this is what we should avoid. Yeah, like rating, especially in such a young age. You are now in these groups which are in the Batumi. Rating will go up and down, especially with 4K, with 40K. The most important is this: work, improvement in the game. Rating comes later on. It will, like recently, if he drops 200 points, he can come back 300 points easily with this 40K. And so on. So rating does not matter too much. I will just say one more thing. Just like when I was talking, when we had like one small meeting, I said already, Miriam was there, that usually now, like I like to watch this under 8, under 10, under 12 groups. Why I like to watch this game? Because there still you can see the real talents which will come to play that event. Sometimes we have so many young players who are like improving. Now you have, like, as I said, Erdogmush is 15. He's 2-7. He will not come to play the championship. So maybe the championship under 16 will be, not maybe, it's for sure weaker. But under 8, under 10, under 12, you can see future stars. There you can see, because they still did not went so high with the rating that they will not attend such events. Yeah. So thank you. Yeah.